Will the government open this upcoming week? This is getting seriously impacting the U.S. economy. What's your take?
I think it's likely to open Wednesday or Thursday of this week. The Democrats will wait until after Election Day because they think a shutdown is good for energizing the crazies in their party. But I think it'll be either late this week or early next week.
Are you going to have to give on the Obamacare subsidies?
No, the Democrats will collapse entirely.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz telling Maria Sunday he expects the Democrats to reopen the government after tomorrow's Election Day. If the doors stay closed in Washington for another day, it's going to tie for the longest shutdown in history. That would be 35 days. President Trump still calling on Senate Republicans to end the 60-vote filibuster rule and pass the clean funding bill with a simple majority. But Senate Majority Leader John Thune maintains he will not negotiate during the shutdown, and he supports keeping the filibuster in place to block future Democratic legislation if they regain control of the upper chamber. Joining me now is West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito. She chairs the Senate Republican Policy Committee, and she's a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. Chairwoman, it's so great to see you. So first off, just kind of give us the latest as to what you're hearing on Capitol Hill, where we're at with the discussions, and then your reaction to what Senator Cruz said to Maria, that he thinks after Election Day tomorrow, the Democrats will come in and reopen the government.
Well, here's what I think. I think that this week there's going to be at least 5 Democrats, because there have been over the last several weeks. They're going to want to exert their will, come to their senses, open the government so that we can begin this negotiation. It seems like there's markers of, oh, Saturday was when insurance premiums came out. Now it's Election Day on Tuesday. Whatever it is, I believe that this week could be the week. I don't have a full sense of when, but there are a lot of negotiating across party lines here to talk about the appropriations process, how important it is. And I'm hopeful that is what's going to be the impetus that pulls us out of this. But honestly, we've had an option for the last 35 days, as you know, to open the government. We could have all of this angst of who's getting paid and what's happening to government services. Should have never happened. And by this time, we probably would have had a negotiated settlement on the health care premiums. But instead, the Democrats decided, under Chuck Schumer's leadership, to just force the American people into a very painful situation.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it all comes down to the ACA subsidies. And I wanted to get your take on this. We had Congressman Steve Scalise in the last hour, and he laid out some of the GOP proposals to where you reform Obamacare. This isn't about getting rid of Obamacare, but it's a reform because of the exponential cost to the American taxpayer. You know, I was at this network covering in 2008 Obamacare, and you know, when it was getting put through and voted on, and it was promised that it was going to save money, you could keep your doctor. All those things were never true. But I think the American people never bargained for the cost to keep these subsidies going. So where do you negotiate?
No, I agree.
So how does that negotiation play out then?
Well, I mean, I think obviously reform has to be a part of this, of the subsidy situation. The enhanced subsidies, we have to remember, were only put into place in 2022 on a strictly partisan basis, and were meant to be put on there temporarily to get us over the COVID hump. And so those are the premium support that are set to expire. The larger part of the premium for those of 400% of poverty and down will remain. And I believe that what we need to do is look at the cost of insurance. It's going up 30%. Well, only 3% of that is estimated to be the part of those enhanced premiums. So we got a whole nother 27% of health inflation. So you know what? PBM reform, more HSAs, more across state lines. All of these things are things we've been pushing for years that we think will push the price and the premium down. But we've also got to get the insurance companies in the room. I'm sorry, they are not coming to the table. I hope the president can help us with this, because the premiums just keep going up and up, and they're not coming to the table with the solutions that we need.
But why would they? Because look, you know, half of the people that are eligible for these ACA subsidies don't even use them. That money ends up going to the insurance companies, so they have no financial reason to negotiate with this. They want this. They want this to continue. I can't blame them.
Absolutely they do. But you know what? If you say 40% or 50%, and that number is still up a question, but 40% is the one I've seen, don't know they had the insurance, the premium subsidy goes to the insurance company.
Yes.
So they're getting that money regardless if somebody even knows they have insurance or not. So we need to fix that issue. There needs to be participation on every side of the aisle here in terms of government, healthcare industry, insurance companies, pharmaceuticals. All of this needs to come together to work on the health inflation aspect of it. That's what's getting lost in this argument, quite honestly. We're saying, how are we going to meet these large increases? How about let's meet the challenge of pulling those increases down? And I think that's what we as Republicans are about.
Yeah, well, when the government reopens, hopefully these negotiations, get underway. This is a major week for President Trump's trade agenda. Senator, the Supreme Court is set to hear those oral arguments on Wednesday over the president's emergency tariff authority. Now, he confirmed he's not going to attend that hearing, Chairwoman, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this.
Well, I think it will be good to have this definitively. I think we're going to get a nod probably when we see the oral arguments on Wednesday as to what the Supreme Court is thinking. Quite honestly, I support the president advantaging the American worker with reciprocal trade. I mean, my state of West Virginia was freaking hollowed out by NAFTA and other trade agreements. And so where we were disadvantaged and we lost a lot of industry and a lot of jobs, I want to see that back to an equilibrium. And that's what the president's trying to do, and bring those jobs back into manufacturing segments of our country. And so I think that the president, really does believe in tariffs. I know that there's some that don't, but I do believe once they all settle, and I think the uncertainty has been too lengthy here. And if the president settles this all out, like you see him doing with Cambodia, Malaysia, Vietnam, Japan, and others, I think what you're going to see is the American worker wages going up, more workers, more work available, more jobs available. But we certainly need that Supreme Court decision to make sure that we can move forward.
How does West Virginia benefit, before you go, from that return of manufacturing to the U.S.? What specifically helps your state here?
Yeah, we have a manufacturing and energy. We are an energy state. We are coal and natural gas. We have wind. We have geothermal. Anytime you're bringing jobs back into the United States, anytime you're creating industries, you're creating a need for more energy, and that's right where West Virginia's wheelhouse is. Mm-hmm. Plus, we have a history of manufacturing. Think about along the Ohio River and other where industries grew up for years, the chemical industry, steel industry, and others. These are being revitalized already because of what the president has done and what is anticipated that he will do.
It's exciting, Senator. It really is for your state and many others. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, it's always great to see you. Thank you for being here, ma'am.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thank you.
We'll be right back, everybody.